In this video, well, I very nearly died. I'll tell you about it in a second. Roll titles. Well, hi YouTube, Brian James, that Michael 4/3 guy with you. And yes, it's been a little bit of a time since I did a video. I've been not well. I've had a little bit of illness at the beginning of November. Either a bad cold or COVID, we're not sure. Because I don't test, I refuse to test. So I've either had a bad cold or COVID. And because it's a bad cold, that means in man flu terms, it's man flu, I was almost dying. Because we all know that man flu, or common cold as people know it as, and man flu means I was just about dying. And I actually felt as if I was one night. As I've got older, I get a little bit more bothered by things, and the other night I was really sort of dried off. I was really in that bit where I was struggling to breathe, and my nose was blocked, and I sort of woke up at during the middle of the night, and throat was really dry. Couldn't breathe, tried swallowing, and it just seemed to stop the whole thing from happening. And I went to a panic because I couldn't breathe. And for those few moments, I seriously thought I was on my way out. It's terrible being over 21 now. Only a little bit over 21, of course, but it's one of those things. So I've had a bad time at the beginning of November, so I couldn't do any videos at all. I really just didn't fancy doing videos, whatever. And for the last week, I've been preparing for Remembrance Weekend. Now, in the UK, we call it Remembrance Weekend. I know that there are people throughout, mainly the Western world, but I know that all over the place, who celebrate or commemorate, is probably a better term, the Veterans Weekend or the Remembrance Weekend. I'm just going to move my camera back just a little touch because it seems very close on that screen, yeah. And ignore the highlights in the hair. I've got a light. I haven't set lights up, so I've just got the overhead lights here, and it's making my hair rather highlighted. Doesn't look quite so grey with it like that, but never mind. Yeah, so I had a festival of remembrance to do on Friday night, which is a big show we do in Carlisle. And I was singing some numbers on that, but also I was hosting the whole evening. And it's an entertainment evening and then a remembrance service at the end of it, very much like you see if you're British and you see on the Albert Hall for the Festival of Remembrance. It's a mini version for Carlisle. We've been doing it well over a decade now, highly successful, about 400 or 500 people in the audience. All sorts of dignitaries, the Mayor of Carlisle, the Lord Lieutenant of Cumbria, the High Sheriff of Cumbria, and really good. So we had that to do, and there's a lot of setting up technical-wise because I do all the sound and all the PA system for that, as well as hosting it. And if I was to put a broom up my backside, I could probably sweep the floor as well. You know what the score is. Then, of course, Armistice Day, as we call it over here, on the 11th, Saturday the 11th, which we, at 11 o'clock on the 11th day of the 11th month. And that's what we did on that. So I was parading on there. And then also on the Sunday, which is our Remembrance Sunday, I did two parades, one in Carlisle in the morning and one in Brampton in the afternoon, where again with all my veterans colleagues, all my ex-forces colleagues, we remember those who passed away in service. So it's been a busy old time, to be honest. But I'm back, and if you did go out on Veterans Weekend, I hope it was a really good weekend for you. I did see some of my American colleagues with their Veteran Day videos that they've done. There's a few of the subscribers I've got, and I know some of them put up Veterans Day videos. I saw most of the ones that I could, really enjoyed them, and it's a fitting tribute from your side and also from mine to just to remember all those colleagues that I've had on the British side of the armed forces. And I know that this is fairly well across the Western world that we've celebrated this, so it's been a good weekend. What have I missed though? Well, what I've missed was the fact that the G9 Mark II from Lumix has entered the shops, and not only that, into the shops, it's also entered into people's hands. So if you are a G9 Mark II user, please give me some comments below, because I'm really interested in what you've got to say. I'm not wanting speculation for those of you who don't own one. I'm wanting to hear, well, you can comment on it if you want to, but you're more than welcome to. But what I really want is some comments from those people who've actually got the G9 Mark II in their hand. I'd like to know things like what you had as a previous camera. Did you replace your G9 Mark I with the G9 Mark II? If that's the case, let me know what you think about the differences between the two. Is it a much better camera? Is it a bit of a waste of money between the two? Is it not a big enough, significant enough change? Let me know what you think of it. Let me know about the form factor as well. It's a very different form factor, different feel of camera to the G9 Mark I. This is, of course, based on the S5 Mark II's body. It's almost identical except for the fan. So let me know about how you're getting on with that body. Is it an improvement for you? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Let me know in the comments. That'd be great. What else have we got to think about? What do you use it for? Do you use it for nature, for sport or whatever? And whatever you use it for, let me know. But also let me know how you're getting on with it. Is it fulfilling your needs for what you want that camera to do? Because it's all very well having a fancy camera, which is supposed to be a fantastic, say, sports camera. But if it doesn't actually produce the goods, then it's not very good as a sports camera. I'm really interested to know. I haven't had my hands on it, and I'm really interested, and I'm sure my viewers would be interested to know what you feel about it on that. The other thing is, if there's any users of the Olympus 45-150 f2.8 lens, and you've got the G9 Mark II, or even the G9 Mark I, again, let me know in the comments. Somebody asked me about that the other day as to what I thought about the matching of the two, and I've never tried it. I've never tried that lens, and I've certainly never tried it on a G9 of any description. So if you have that lens, the Olympus 45-150 f2.8, let us know in the comments about how you feel it's performing on the Lumix G9 or the G9 Mark II. I'd really be interested. Let's see, what else? Oh yes, just let me know the general pros and cons of that camera. Let me know what you think is good, let me know what you think is bad now that you've got it in use. Not what the specs say, because specs are only one thing, but let us know what you think about it. It could be as simple as you really like how a button's been laid out on it, because sometimes those little things are what makes a huge difference in your enjoyment of a camera. So, you know, just let me know. Oh, I really like the way that this happens, or it just falls under my thumb nicely. To give you an idea, when I got my GX8, a camera I absolutely adore, one of the big problems is the display button. It's just where my thumb would like to carry the camera, and every time I get hold of the camera, I change the display setting, and it's a real pain. So that's one of the things. If you've got something like that, let us know, and let us know why it's a pain. That's the G9 Mark II. Give me as many comments as you can on it. I'm really interested to know. The other thing is, as well, my daughter 4/3, can I call her that? Daughter 4/3, that's what she's known as from now. Daughter 4/3 took a camera out the other day. She's not a photographer at all. But a few years ago, I gave her a present of a Canon EOS 550D, a 550D, plus the, I think it's an 80-210 lens, if I remember right, or an 80-250 lens, something like that. But it works out approximately, because an aps-c camera, it works out approximately a 400mm lens on a full frame. Sorry, a 400mm lens on the Canon 550, and she'd been asked if she could take some photographs of the local football team where she is, both group shots and also action shots playing. And it was interesting because we've been, you and I mean, we'll talk as friends. You and I have probably got a good idea what we're talking about. We understand a little bit about the exposure triangle. We understand a bit about depth of field, and if we don't, we've watched the videos that I've gone through already, so we're quite knowledgeable. And I forget that an awful lot of people, including some of the people on the channel, are knowledgeable. They're picking up cameras possibly for the first time or very few times in the past, and a lot of this is a bit of a blur. So I was trying to talk her through how to do a group shot for the football team and make it so that she, you know, because she has one chance of doing these things. They'd all just got the brand new football strip for this season. When I'm talking about football, I'm talking about English soccer as opposed to American football. So they just got the new team strips, and I was trying to explain to her how to do a good group shot, about using a reasonably wide angle lens, leaving a little bit either side so you've got some gap down the side, because if you do want to trim it in, you can't trim it in if it's too close to the side, you know. So, and also, of course, on wider angle lenses, you do tend to get more distortions at the side. About depth of field, to make sure that the ones at the side were actually in focus, because again, that distance, that longer distance, can sometimes cause you focusing problems as you get to the extremes. So I took her through that. But also she was taking some action shots, taking football on a dullish day. So of course it's not the most modern camera, it's a DSLR camera as well, not a mirrorless, so it's not what you see is what you get. And we had some interesting times, and she took the shots. I actually think she did extremely well. A certain amount of rejection, because of course that camera doesn't have IBIS. The lens that she had didn't have image stabilization either, so it's a camera without any image stabilization either than a lens or the camera. Shooting on a fairly long lens, as I say, equivalent to about a 400mm lens. I think it was a 250 actual focal length, but of course with the crop. So you're talking about something at least 250. So you're doing your working out your speed to make sure you have a high enough speed of that. Now, I didn't know she was doing any of these action shots, so luckily she managed to get some good ones. But there was a fair amount of rejections due to camera shake. It was also quite interesting insofar as she'd accidentally caught the image compensation, the exposure compensation, by a stop. And it was noticeable on that. So we had to try and claw these back because, of course, the match had finished. She couldn't get them again. So we managed to get the photographs together, got it there, edited them down, did some compensation on it, did an awful lot of cropping in, because although it's equivalent to a 400mm lens, that's actually not a particularly long lens when you're trying to get a football across a football field. But it was a real eye-opener for her, because she has shot a wedding in the past and did some fantastic shots at a wedding. She's very creative, which was really good. But it did make me think about how little knowledge she had about how to set a camera up. And when we started going through them, when I've just tried explaining to her about exposure triangles and depth of field and all sorts of things like that, and focal lengths, you know it's going in one ear and straight out the other one. But by the time we'd done this, she'd physically done these things. And we looked at the information, the ID3 information, and we looked at what was on there, and she then could put that into real terms as to why something happened, because she remembers taking the photograph at that particular time, seeing that scene, and then working out now, because I was telling her how we could improve it. It was really interesting watching the reaction that she had. So I was really impressed on that. We got some good shots out of it. Say rejection, probably rejected about a third of them. But an awful lot of really good shots. The rejections were all down purely to speed-related things. Either too fast a movement through the frame or a bit of camera shake. So it was interesting on that. Again, leave me something in the comments. Have you ever tried explaining all those basic details which you just take for granted because you've done it for so long? Have you ever tried explaining that to a total novice and being able to get them to go off and take some shots on their own and be successful with them? Let me know in the comments below how you got on and what the problems were. So what else is coming up in the near future? I'm trying to cram everything in. Since I haven't been here for a fortnight, I'm trying to cram an awful lot into one video. So I do apologise, A, for talking quite quickly, and B, for waffling on. But I'm just trying to get a lot in. I've got myself a little 1-inch sensor Lumix camera, which I'm going to do a little pseudo review on very, very soon. And it's one that I basically was given in a little pouch. Given it, didn't have a battery, didn't have a charger, so I went on the auction site and bought myself a Lumix battery and a Lumix charger for not a great deal. Charged it all up, put it in, a little 4 gig SD card into it, and I've been going around with it, just taking photographs. It's so small, it fits in your pocket. It's great. So I've been taking some photographs of that, and I'll let you know how I got on with that one, because we do talk about the idea of just having a camera in your pocket, and it doesn't really matter what the sensor is. You know, we go on about whether we need full frame or aps-c or micro four thirds or 1 inch or whatever it is. But I think at the end of the day, an awful lot of what we want is just be able to capture an image for us to remember what a situation was, or to capture an image because it was appealing at the time. And it's probably more important just having the camera there than having the right camera, if that makes sense. So I'll do a little video of that very, very soon. But the trouble with it is the weather's been absolutely atrocious. It's been, Storm Debbie is coming through, D-E-B-I, Debbie is coming through. And we just had another storm a week or so ago. So it's been really bad weather. So that's stopped me going out. And as I say, when you've been on the back end of a serious man flu, then you really don't fancy going outside in the rain and the cold and things. But I'm getting back to doing some photography now. The other thing is as well, come the end of this month, I'm back to Cyprus. Only 2 weeks' time, and I'm back to Cyprus for 3 weeks on my own. And it's to get the teeth fixed. I know that some of you have been sending me some real sort of supportive messages about the fact that teeth. So very soon, hopefully, I'll have a nice set of smiling dentures instead of having to talk like that. But off to Cyprus, and I'm going to hit all over southern Cyprus this time, not just around Paphos area. So watch out for some videos on that. I'm going to be doing some camera walks across Petaris and Ayia Napa and that sort of way. And it's a place I've never shown on this channel before. So if you are interested in those, I'm really looking forward to doing some of those videos. The weather over there is a little bit nicer. It's about 21, 22 degrees in the daytime at the moment, even though it is November. So that'll be towards the end of the time. So there should be a lot of videos happen then. Apart from that, though, thank you very much for bearing with me and not being available on the channel. It's I have missed doing the videos, and it's just been one of those things that you just can't be bothered even moving. So I really do appreciate the fact that you've held on the channel. I am still coming very close to the 10,000 subscribers. I'm at about 9,820 or something at the moment. So if you're not a subscriber to this channel, please consider being a subscriber. It costs absolutely nothing. We don't charge you. There's no catch in it. It just means that you get to see the videos there. And it also means that YouTube's algorithm spreads these videos out so more and more people can see them. And while you're down there, just give a big thumbs up for me, please. And finally, of course, my wonderful band of subscribers who are just coming up and down the screen here. Not my merry band of subscribers, my merry band of patrons. My merry band of patrons on Patreon. It goes up the screen now. It's getting very, very clever. So, yes, to all those people who are the ones supporting the channel, thank you very much. And if you'd like to give a one-off support payment, enough for a cup of coffee or something of that ilk, then there's either a super thanks button below, or if you look in the description below, you'll find that there's a PayPal link. Either of those will give a little bit of support to the channel, and it's all greatly appreciated. So, until the next video, this is Brian James, a Micro Four Thirds guy, in a far better fettle than I was, and refreshed now after a very interesting and enjoyable Remembrance weekend when I got the chance to put my uniform back on. I'll put a picture in a second, actually, of me in uniform, just to show that I was actually there. In fact, there's a thing where I was being given a presentation by the Lord Lieutenant of Cumbria a few years ago, when I was still a serving officer. So I'll stick that at the end and let you see it. But I'm rather proud of that. I've got a certificate of meritorious service. I'll stick that, and you can have a good laugh at me in my uniform. Till the next time, see you. Bye-bye.